Welcome to Nell Town Model Railway. I'm John. As with all scratch builds, I built a prototype and from that I found a number of faults, as can be seen. However, overall I was very happy with what I designed and constructed, so I went on to amend my plans in order to make a more realistic canal boat. As can be seen, I had a few issues with the MDF. I do store it flat indoors, but I cut my materials in the garage due to the fumes, and the MDF seems to bow exceptionally fast when going from the indoors to the outdoor environment. Eventually I was able to cut everything out safely without becoming an invisible man with regard to my fingerprints. I then progressed on to wrapping the hull using 0.06 MDF. There are 4 stages to this, split into 2 sections. Section 1, port side, section 2, starboard side. First of all, you glue your MDF onto the straight section of the hull and leave overnight for that to set fully and firmly using carpenter's glue. You then wrap the bow and stern around, sticking them into the center of the keel that you've preformed. You then, after another overnight wait, do the same on the other side. You will note that I had excess overhangs at the bottom and the top, because when you curve the wraps around at the bow and the stern, you need extra material because of the curvature. Then, using evergreen plastic strips, I created the rubbing strips halfway down the hull and along the top edge of the hull, and also from MDF created a small set of steps to get down into the cabin. Then I started forming the handrails at the stern using 0.25mm florist wire. And look who's popped in to help. I will never put myself forward as the premier solderer of the world. In fact, very low down in the batting order. A few mistakes I made here were that I forgot that the florist wire was wrapped in paper. Paper doesn't solder very well, so I had to start again and sand the paper off so I could get a good key with bare metal. But once I'd overcome that amazing issue, I was able to progress fairly well, although the railings do look like they've been battered by some party people. After some filing and fettling, I got a fairly decent effect, bearing in mind a bench seat was going to be laid on top of the railing, as with some canal boats. I then painted the boat, and I won't go into detail of painting, but I used a black rattle can of matte paint for the hull and did some weathering. And on the cabin, I used Tamiya Royal Blue, I think it was, but watered down using isopropanol alcohol and 20 psi on the airbrush. The rattan fenders are kitchen string. And here we are back in the loft, 7 pours of realistic water later, and all cured. The milky colour isn't actually in the water. I think it's reflected from the loft ceiling, but I'm very, very happy with the canal scene as it stands now. Thank you very much for watching once again, and to my growing band of subscribers.